Welcome back to the Centre Half Bench podcast. It's been an interesting week of footy. A couple of close games, a couple of blowouts. Stick with us, we've got a wider variety of content in the works, a couple of interviews, a couple of reviews, mid-season reviews. But until then, let's crack into it.
I think the first game we're going to look at this week is Sydney GWS. What an upset that was.
Yeah, you got to look at Giants and wonder if they're falling off. Obviously, they made the grand final, the best they've ever done in a season. Since then, they've been slowly falling off.
I think Leon Cameron, he recently he's reported to get a new 2-year contract. I wouldn't give him one. I don't think he's a good coach. I think he's a average coach, but he's got the Ferrari of the AFL, which is just giving him bucket loads of talent, and he's just driving it like it's nothing. Yeah, he's just making them. He's just looking like shit, basically.
Yeah,
and make him look better than what he is.
And obviously, the Swans had a bye, came back against Giants. Luke Parker led that young team, which it is very young, to a 41-point win over a finals contender. Credits to him.
He's been leading them this whole year, and people got to start noticing that as well, I reckon, because he's a very good AFL footballer. He started off his career as a small forward type player. Now he's gone into the midfield and he's absolutely dominating it. Just a shame that he can't probably get a bit more finals play time during to the back end of his career, but he's won a premiership, so I think he'd be happy with that. Speaking of premierships, yeah, the Cats look like a contender.
Mate, Hawkins again, 6 goals too. What a gun.
We called it. I hate him. I actually hate him, but he's a gun. I think I saw Matthew Lloyd talking about him. I'm like, and because Geelong have just been offering him 1-year contracts up until he retires, but I think someone could easily offer him 2-3 years, and they could like poach him away. But I don't see him leaving the Cats.
That's the thing. How old is he? 29, 30?
Fuck, he's like 32.
Yeah, because like if you did poach him for 2-3 years, he might drop off very quickly. So it's risk reward.
Yeah, but like if you're having the best season of your career at 32,
fair enough.
You're looking all right.
And after last week against the Tigers, we'll go on about how Power looked very good. They got put in place. They got a reality check like St Kilda last.
They got belted by Geelong. They got belted by 60 points. It is not looking pretty.
No.
It's not looking pretty. I think one of the non-pretty games of this week was North Melbourne-Brisbane. Bit of a boring game. Lions were inaccurate again. Like, we can't say that enough times. It's like every episode we've had. They can't. And I think if they do want to win a premiership, they got to kick straight, especially because obviously you saw that Collingwood team. Like, obviously we mentioned them a lot, but they're very inaccurate, which causes them to lose games.
Games they should win, a bit like this Lions team.
Exactly. And the thing is, Cam Zerha, if he scored that goal, that at the end that was a point, they would have won a game because he got a free kick after the siren to make it a 1-point game. But what can you do?
Well, Onkanga's back last week, and then they've turned their performance around. They don't look great, but there's some positive signs there.
Yeah. The thing is, Davies Uniacke is a gun, but it doesn't look good when you're just going down the line, handball out the back, go through the middle, gets intercepted, and then you got to run back to the back line. That's what their game has looked like this year.
Mate, that game plan seems very similar to this shit Collingwood one at the moment.
Oh, sideways, backwards. Forward, sideways, long bomb forward. Let's hope that someone can mark it. We don't have a tall forward line.
Nah, we have bloody small forwards and one tall, and we bomb it along to small forwards, hoping they can bloody win a contested mark.
Yeah, like De Goey, I understand he's very, very good physically and absolutely like amazingly athletic, but he's injured now, and you just can't be doing that, especially. And Darcy Cameron, obviously the only tall forward in the team, they're just going to crowd him. They're going to crunch him because if you put three guys on him, they're not getting to it. And then you put three guys there, you got two on him and one in the front for a Melbourne player. You get the crumbs 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, and Melbourne looked a class above. During the coverage, they were saying how they were a very fit team and their last quarters are the best because of that fitness, and they can overrun their opponents. That showed. They owned that last quarter.
We got shown firsthand.
Mate, 2018 D's are coming back, I'm calling it.
You reckon?
Especially with Petrarca at the moment, he can lead them.
Petrarca looks like an absolute freak this year.
Yeah.
He's a monstrous player.
It's taken a while for him to develop as a player, but now that he's at his top.
Him and Dugowie were in the same draft class, and they were both compared very, very similar to each other.
Yeah.
And they're both very similar players by the way they play, but I think Petrarca's a little bit taller and a bit more explosive out of the midfield compared to Dugowie, who's just a pure forward.
Yeah, and Collingwood, we had one more inside 50 for the whole game, yet we had a 9-goal loss. Like, that type of conversion, like Melbourne, yeah, I know. It was, we get our midfield gets ourselves in games, yet our forwards and their conversion and their marking and movement and inaccuracy lets us down, and also our back line occasionally lets us down. Either end, we're weak, but in the midfield, we're strong.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I don't think we're weak in the back line. I just think there's been so much pressure thrown onto them that they're just, because of lack of pressure up the ground, and because when they're getting that intercept mark, they're being forced to sprint back, and you just look. And if you're a backman, obviously that's your job, defend first, but you don't want to be sprinting back every 2 seconds just so you can get scored on again, because by the time you get from the center circle all the way back to full forward, you're puffed out.
Yeah.
And I think a serious topic that has to come up now is a Bucks' time to go.
Yeah, well, he's been coaching for 9 years. He obviously made 2012 and 13 finals with Mick Moldhouse's team. Then he had 14, 15, 16, 17. He had 4 years of rebuilding, and now this was his team. He's made 2 years of final, and to be honest, I doubt if we'll make finals this year at the moment. So he's.
I think we might creep into the finals, maybe. But I don't see us going past the second round if we do. But if we do go past the first, I think that's the furthest we'll go. And the thing is, after games like this, especially, I'm angry during the game, but when I'm done with it, I take my time and I think about it. I'm just like, okay. And I just get upset because I know that we can perform better.
Yeah, like Bucks has been here for 9 years. You look at Clarko, who's been at the Hawks for 12 years. People are saying his time's up. Clarko is a freak of a coach, and he's been at a club for 12 years.
Four flags, sorry.
Yeah.
He deserves to be what he's on and should not even be talked about getting sacked.
Whereas apart from 2018, we fell short last year. Buckley hasn't had the same success.
He doesn't have a backup plan.
Yeah.
I don't think so. Anyway,
backup plans just keep on doing the first. The words of Swoop Luke.
Yeah. Anyways, let's get into footy stocks, because if we talk about this Melbourne Collingwood game, we'll be here for the rest of the day.
Yeah, so footy stocks. If you're new to the podcast, basically you say something you like the look of that you want to buy, something you don't like the look of that you want to sell, something you're not sure of that you want to hold. They're all footy related. They're all about the past week. So on that note, Sash, what are you buying?
I think the Cats are a serious contender, and they've finally. Tom Hawkins has been good his whole career, but I think he's just stepped up a massive level. What are you looking to buy into?
I am buying Jack Clutch Newnes, man. That kick, he wasn't even meant to have it, but I tell you what, that was like some Robbie Gray shit.
Yeah. He was like 15 meters. He was like 15 meters away from like where the actual free kick. I think it was like who was supposed to take it?
Michael
I can't remember
Gibbons.
his name exactly. And he was literally maybe like a meter and a half away from the free kick.
Yeah.
But honestly, a shit game. But that goal from Newnes made it 100 times more interesting. I didn't watch the game, sadly, but definitely looking at the highlights, it was like, wow, that must have been a very high pressure game, and and to score that after the siren, I think the commentators said it best. It's every schoolboy's dream, and that's 100% what it was.
And he absolutely nailed it.
Yeah.
What are you selling?
Yeah. I'm selling our top 4 hopes, the Pies' top 4 hopes.
Yeah.
I think they're gone. Look, we're a game and a half out, but I don't see teams above us dropping.
At the moment, we're
points.
lucky to make it into the finals.
Yeah, I know. We are playing like a bottom 5 team.
Yeah.
We're playing like 2017.
Yep. That was a shit season.
That was such an annoying season, especially for our 125th anniversary.
Yeah.
What are you selling, Jai?
Elijah Taylor. We all know what happened to him. Swans young gun.
Yeah.
Obviously, a lot to live up to. They brought Adam Goods' number out of retirement for him. And this season he's gone and invited his girlfriend into the hub, stuffed up his season. Yeah, without permission. Now he's suspended for the rest of the season. So not a good way to end his first. Is it his first season? First or second?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have a massive insight on the Swans.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think what I'm going to hold on to, it may sound a bit predictable or not, I'm not sure. But the Doggies making the 8, I think they have a genuine chance. And they're starting to get their act together. And then once they do that, they look very scary.
Yeah, once again, you're holding on to Dogs. I'm holding on to Giants. I've looked at their run. They've got maybe two teams that are tough to beat. The rest, they all should win. With that run, they should make finals. But
but if you're losing to Sydney, some things sound a bit easier to say than what they are to do.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all for Footy Stocks segment. Hope you enjoyed it. If you've got any ideas, any other segments, chuck them down below.
Freo versus Blues, as we were talking about the Blues before and Jack Newnes. There's not much else to say to this game besides Jack Newnes put his name on the AFL world, basically.
Yeah.
And it's just because, honestly, he's the type of player that you only know because he's on your team's list, if that makes sense.
Like, I knew him when he was at St Kilda.
Yeah, but, like, you just didn't really take notice of him.
Yeah, he was one of those players where they were pumping him up that he has potential, but he never showed it.
Yeah, and then, obviously, he requested a trade to Carlton. He's been average this year, but, pretty good goal. Probably goal of the year contention.
Yeah, maybe. Probably not as good as Dacos, but after that goalless first quarter from the Blues, you thought it was over. Obviously, Taberner kicks 3 of Freo's 5 goals, so that could explain part of the lack.
He's been dominating lately. I think he scored like maybe 8 goals in his last 3 games or something along that. He scored.
Yeah, he's hitting his straps.
Yeah, which is really good, especially for a young Freo team that's starting to develop as well. Brayshaw, Saron, Rory Lobb, who else? Taberner. But yeah, they're starting to come along. Fife, but Fife's getting older now. But I think he's like 29, but he can play for a long time for the sole fact that you can chuck him up forward and he'll still dominate. It's crazy.
Yeah, and you mentioned hitting their straps, the Dogs against the Crows.
Yeah.
I know Crows are last on the ladder, but the Dogs definitely made their mark.
Bonds and Pally, 33 touches, 12 clearances, 2 goals. Bailey Smith, 37 disposals, 6 clearances, 10 inside 50s. That's crazy.
That's a good duo.
That's 70 touches between the two.
Mate,
That's
AFL
freakish.
fans, especially doggy fans, would be wetting themselves looking at that.
And the female footy fans are frothing over.
Bailey Smith and Bonton.
But another player that we've got to look at, we can't just look at the two ball magnets. Aaron Norton, 6 goals, 1.
Yeah, he only had 8 disposals for 7 scoring shots, so you'll take that any day.
Especially from a big key forward. Dogs are coming along. I think it was last week, I think they could win or the week before, I think the Dogs can still win another premiership this decade. Or maybe 2.
They can.
Because
they're well in the race.
they are. Especially, and Luke Beveridge is a great coach. He's a very good coach. And I think with that, and they build around, they bring in more young talent. Obviously, the first overall pick in this year's draft for the number 1 ranked player in the country automatically has gone to the Dogs due to the academy rules and him being in the Bulldogs academy. That's another great player to add. And they've got so many good young players as well.
Yeah. Speaking of good young players in a building team, this Saints team looks like it. Obviously got a win over the Bombers. Bombers didn't look good all day. Once again, they're going down the same path as Pies and Giants. Strong start, weak finish, might not make finals, probably not going to.
I don't see them.
Saints look good.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And it's definitely a bounce back for them after that demolition to Geelong, where they just got absolutely dominated. And Jack Steele again, not his best game, but still playing very, very well. He's looking like an All-Australian. And someone that possibly could be a future All-Australian, Max King, he's 3 goals, 1, starting to show potential. They gave him that number 12 jersey for a reason. First player to wear it since Nick Rewalt. So big standards to uphold.
And he's delivered this season.
It's technically his first season because he didn't play a game last year. He just got played in the VFL last year to develop. And I think that's one of the better things that they did. Obviously, you can tell he's still a bit sluggish at the footy because he's a bit nervous. But when you're a tall forward, you're going to be targeted, and that's okay because he'll learn to grow out of those nerves and start developing and clunking those big marks and having big games with big goal numbers, I reckon.
Yeah, and you know what was disappointing this week? In the Hawks and Eagles game, Sicily doing his ACL. I hate him as a bloke, but he's a bloody good player.
He's a really good player, but you don't ever like seeing anyone go down with an injury, especially to the ACL. Yeah, I was talking to Millsy, and that's what he was saying. He was shattered. He's like, that's his career done. That's it. He's like, he could be over.
They're almost always recurring.
They are. And once that one knee goes, it's a bit hard because there's so much pressure on your other knee now. And then to go back, go to rehab and do all that other stuff. It's not a pretty sight.
He's missing out on all of next season.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And maybe most of the season after that.
And just like him missing out on next season, the Hawthorn dynasty is going to miss out on the next couple of seasons, and I'm saying it's done.
Yeah, I think it's done too. Which is a bit of a shame because it was more fun while it lasted. They had the best team for this century, probably. Would you agree?
Either them or Lions of 01, 2, 3.
Them or the Lions, yeah. Both teams three-peated. Could have four-peated. But it's such a sad ending. But all dynasties have to come to an end at some stage.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, Clarko's done a hell of a job. And whether he leaves or not, he's going to be a Hawthorn legend.
Yeah.
For sure.
And in the same game, Gaff had 33 touches, dominated the game. And once again, Nick Nat, once again, proving that he is All-Australian.
Yeah, for sure. He's looking like that Nick Nat of old, that one that we knew had potential, great tap work and good running with the footy, and just an all-round good player. And he's starting to show that again.
Yeah.
And he is an athletic monster. I think he's like 6'8", 110 kilos, but just pure muscle. Man, I'd shit myself if that came running.
You would.
I would shit myself.
Yeah.
And not only is he big and massive, but he's quick. He's very quick for a tall guy.
Yeah. This next game, Suns versus Tigers, pretty anticipated. Going to be a good test for the Suns, and once again, a good test for the Tigers because we still don't know where they're at. Suns led early, yet after halftime kicked a 1-2 for the game, and Tigers ran over the top.
It was a very good game. Well, not the best game, but it was still a good game to watch. I think the Suns applied a lot of pressure, and honestly, it was really, really close up until that last quarter. And they had a lot of bright spots actually. Because what's his name? I think it's Noah Anderson, Lukosius. Yeah. Noah Anderson looking like rising star. Looking like the rising star. Alex Sexton, we know he's not as young as those other players, but he's still a very good player. I think Ben King, you're starting to notice that Ben King has attracting a lot more attention now, especially because he can go take a mark. He doesn't care. Like, I think there's this mark I saw. He's just running at the footy. Someone just took out his knees and he still marked it. He just came up with it. And he just doesn't give a shit. He's just a bull with the ball. And I think that's really good, especially for a tall forward to provide for you.
And Rewalt and Lynch looked dangerous up the Tigers forward. 4 goals to 3 between the two. How'd you see that?
Yeah, I think it was good, but the thing is, they got to kick more accurately. They have to kick more accurately because you shouldn't be kicking 4 goals 3 when you're 2 elite like forwards. You should be kicking more accurately, especially Tom Lynch going up against his old team.
Yeah.
And
speaking of Tom Lynch, there was a bit of a dirty play there in the third quarter when he kicked a goal after punching, I think it was Sam Collins in the balls, then let off, and Sam Collins couldn't chase him and then took a mark and kicked the goal. Surely that gets at least a fine.
Fuck a fine, man. I'm telling you, that deserves to be suspended. He's had, I think it was against, was it Adelaide? Where it was Brisbane, where he just grabbed a guy's head and just smashed it into the ground.
Yeah.
That was dirty. And he only got a $500 fine.
Yeah.
Like, if you look at that.
He's a bit of a shit bloke, to be honest.
He is. He's a dickhead. Yeah. And with stuff like that, it's like, what are you doing? Like, you're there to play you're there to play football, not hit guys on the balls, smash their heads into the ground. It's like, come on, get your shit together.
Yeah, and on that note, I think that's all for this week, Sash. Yeah.
Anyways, I think this is going to wrap it up for centre half bench. Thank you guys really much for listening and tuning in.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, whatever platform, whatever device. We appreciate your support. Looking to get bigger and better as the weeks and the years go on. Stick around with us, and hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoy future episodes. Make sure to like, subscribe, follow, whatever you're on. And until next week, catch you later.